In the last lessons, we already learned about the overview of logistics and supply chain management. Do you know what is the most important factor when we manage a supply chain or when we manage a retail? If you already took the retail management course before, you know the three most important factors of retail management are location, location, and location. So it's the same as retail management. Locating facilities is very important for supply chain management. So that's why today we will learn about locating facilities in chapter 2. So in these lessons, we will go through 5 main parts. The first one is what is location decision, what is it, and what character what characteristics of this decision. The second part, we will learn how to choose the geographic region. And in the next part, I will introduce you some approaches to make the location decision. In the fourth part, we will learn about network models. And in the final part, we will learn about location planning. So what is location decisions? So it's when we find the best geographic locations for the different elements in a supply chain. Do you still remember what elements we have in a supply chain? We already learned it in the last lessons. So first we have supplier, manufacturer, warehouse, distribution centers, so on and so forth. Okay. Location decision is a long-term decisions. We cannot just decide it in a short term. Like if we want to locate a new facility, we want to make the location decision, we have to think of long-term plan. Okay. And let me give you an example. For example, you want to open a new 7-Eleven branch. So you will locate it in Binh Thanh district. However, after 1 month, the revenue is not so good in that store. So can you just move to another place, move to another district, or just destroy it and build it again? Of course you can do it, but it will cost a lot of money. You have to pay for the operating cost, building house, building store cost, so on and so forth. So location decision is very difficult to reverse. You can do it, but you have to pay a lot of cost for it. And the location decision also affect the fixed and variable cost. So what is fixed cost and what is variable cost? Fixed cost is the cost that doesn't change. But it's fixed, right? So it doesn't change in a period of time. It's a constant, and it is not affected by production quantity. However, the variable cost is the cost that change over time. For example, the tax or the cost related to operational cost. And example for the fixed cost is like the labor cost or the cost to rent a building. Okay, and if we choose not good location, a poor location, we will have low productivity and also unreliable suppliers or poor materials. For example, you locate your restaurant very far from the suppliers, so that you when you deliver, when you buy the food from the supplier and deliver it to your restaurant, the material is not fresh anymore, so you have poor material and you will have low quality products and high cost, of course. Why is high cost? Like for example, the transportation cost. If you locate too far, locate your store too far from the supplier, you have to pay more transportation costs. Therefore, we have to be careful when we make the location decisions. And what is our objective when we make location decisions? We try to maximize the benefit of the location. So, for example, we decide uh, to choose to open a new restaurant in the district. We try to maximize all the benefit of that location, like that location can attract more customer or not, is it near suppliers, is it convenient, and we make the location decision when we try to open a new branch or we try to locate the new facilities. Let's see what are kind of factors we have to consider when we make the location decisions. So we separate those factors into two main groups. The first one is quantifiable factors, and the second one is non-quantifiable factors. So what is quantifiable factors? Those are factors can be calculated or can count, is countable. For example, operating cost or wage raise or tax or currency exchange rate or number of competitors or distance or population. How about non-quantifiable factors? Those factors are uncountable. For example, like quality, we cannot count quality. The quality of infrastructure or social attitudes, we cannot just measure the social attitudes by number, right? So it's uncountable. Or legal system, so on and so forth. Okay, so why and when we have to locate new facilities? For example, you are not from Ho Chi Minh City, but you come Ho Chi Minh City for a study, so you have to rent a room here. So normally we will sign contract with the landlord in 1 year, right? So after 1 year, the landlord doesn't want you to stay in her room anymore, so you have to find a new room. So it's when you try to find and locate your new room. So the first reason we locate the new facilities is the end of lease or an existing premise. Okay. The second one, for example, you open a milk tea shop in the district, and the revenue is very high. You earn a lot of profit, a lot of customers like your products. So you think, oh, I want to open a new branch, maybe in Bintang district. So you have to find and locate a new store, right? So the second reason is the expansion into new geographic areas. Okay, and we also have another reasons like the change in the location of the customers or suppliers. So for example, I work in a company in Taiwan before. So their customer is a shoes company in the US. I forgot the name of that company, but it's a top three shoes company in the US. Then we have China. Sorry, my handwriting is not good. Taiwan, US, and Vietnam. So the company in Taiwan will order, they locate their factory in China and they produce the product, then they deliver to US. However, the shoes companies open a new branch in Vietnam. They open a new brand here. So that's why the Taiwan company, they change the factory from China to Vietnam. So here we see because the customer changed their location, so that the company in Taiwan also tried to change the location to Vietnam. So either the change in the location of customer or the suppliers is also become a reason to locate the new facilities. Okay, or when we upgrade the facility, like introduce new technology, so it's also another reason to locate the new facilities. When the company increase the investment, when they have to locate the new facility, so we will go through 5 options of the company in increasing the investment. The first one is licensing or franchising. The second one is exporting. The third one is local distribution and sale. The fourth one is local assembly and finishing. And the fifth one is full local production. So for detailed definition of these 5 options, you can read in this slide. So now I will give you an example so that you will understand more about those options when they increase the investment and when they have to locate the new facility. So for the first one, when the local organization make and supply the company products, here they just make and supply the product in US. I consider 2 countries, US and Vietnam, and they have an existing facility is the manufacturer in US, and they just produce the products and supply the products in US market. So they don't need to locate the new facility. The second option is they export the product. So they will make the manufacturer in US will make the products in existing facilities, and then they will sell to Vietnam market. So they sell to the maybe distribution center in Vietnam. And in this case, they also don't need to locate the new facility because they only produce products in the existing facility. Then after that, export the product to the distribution center or the customer in Vietnam. The third one is the local distribution and sales. As in the manufacturer in US will produce the product in each existing factory, then they set up the new, this one is new, distribution center or sales force, so that they can have the manufacturer sell the product to new market, that is Vietnam. So here is when they have to locate the new facility. For the fourth one, the fourth option is the local assembly and finishing. So the manufacturer in the US will make most of the products in this existing factory. Then after that, they deliver them to another factory in Vietnam, so that that factory can assemble the products. And after assembling the products, they will sell it to the new market, that is Vietnam. Okay, so this is so new. So it's also when they have to locate the new facility. But here they locate the new facility in the local market in the US, and in local assembly and finishing, they have to locate the new facility in the new market, that is Vietnam. And the last one is the full local production. It means they will outsource, and they will not produce the product in the existing factory, but they open a complete facility in the new market, that is in Vietnam. So they open a factory here so that they can produce product here. So this is also have to locate the new factory in Vietnam. So I hope via this example you can understand completely about these 5 options when they have to make the new facility or existing facilities. Okay, so when we open a new facility, for example, in this case, they open a new factory in Vietnam. So how many products they have to sell, or how many products they have to produce, so that they can cover the cost, for example, to to locate a new facility in Vietnam, they have to pay like 1 billion USD, for example. So how many products this factory have to produce, so that they can cover 1 billion USD that they already spent on this new facility. Now, to calculate it, we will learn about the break-even analysis. So break-even point is the point that the amount of goods required to be sold just to cover the cost. So here, let me draw here. For example, we have the cost is to locate the new factory in Vietnam is 1 billion, and they have to produce 1 trillion products and sell 1 trillion products to take 1 billion USD back. So 1 trillion, this number is the break-even point. So how to determine the break-even point? First For each location, where is the mouse? Okay, for each location we have to determine the fixed and variable cost. So it means we have to calculate the total cost. And then, okay, here the total cost. Total cost is equal to fixed cost plus variable cost. Then we identify the range of output for which each location has the lowest total cost. So after we, for example, we have 4 locations, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we calculate the total cost by the sum of fixed cost and variable cost of location 1, location 2, location 3, and location 4. Then we will compare which location will have the lowest total cost. And then we will solve to find the break-even points over the identified range. For example, the location 2 has the lowest total cost. So we have to calculate what point, how many products they have to sell so that they can cover the cost of locating a new facility in location 2. Okay? And here is the mathematical formula help you to calculate the break-even point. So first we have to calculate the total cost that is equal to fixed cost plus the variable cost. So variable cost, as we know, is affected by the production quantity. So here Q is production quantity and C is the unit cost. So we have the total variable cost is equal to unit variable cost times the production quantity and plus with fixed cost. We can calculate the total cost, and the total revenue is equal to the price of each item times the number of the product that we can sell is Q. So the break even point is when the total revenue is equal to the total cost, and we have F plus CQ will be equal to P times Q. So we can calculate the break-even quantity is equal to the fixed cost divided by the price minus the unit variable cost. Okay. So let's look at this example. Clean clothes cleaners is considering for possible size for its new operation, and they expect to clean 10,000 garments. And here is the table to show the break-even analysis. Okay, so basically we have 4 possible size, that is A, B, C, and D. So we want to see which location is the best location for us. So we have the fixed cost and variable cost of each location. Then based on fixed cost and variable cost we can calculate the total cost of location A, B, C, and D, so that we can see the location A has the lowest cost. Okay, that is 400,000. So location A is the best location for us to choose if we expect to clean 10,000 garments. And here we look at the graph to see if this result is correct, if location A is really the best location for the clean clothes cleaner company. So we have the formula total cost is equal to the fixed cost plus the variable cost, and the variable cost is equal to the unit cost times the quantity, right? So here we have the quantity in the x-axis, and this line is the red lines are the total cost line of for location A, B, C, and D. So look at this graph. We can see two intersections that is between B and C, and another intersection is between A and B. So these two intersections are two lowest cost intersection. So we can see in this the intersection between B and C, the quantity is around 4,667 units, and between here is 4,667, and the intersection between A and B, that is 9,000 units. So we can see if we expect to clean less than 467 garments, location C will be the best location because it will it occurs the lowest cost. But if the quantity of garment we want to clean is between 4,667 to 9,000 garments, B is the best location because the total cost in B is the lowest. However, if the total quantity we expect to clean is more than 9,000 units, A is the best location because the total cost here is the lowest. So the above 9,000 units is the we can choose the best site is A. So it's matched with the calculation here, right? The 10,000 garments is more than 9,000. So we just went through the first part. You know when and why we have to locate the new facility. We also learn how to do break-even analysis so that the company can determine how many products they have to sell so that they can cover their locating new facility cost. And now we will go to the second part, that how we can choose the geographic region. So based on the business strategy, they will determine the geographical regions for locations, and then based on the cultures, cost, customer, and supplier, they will determine the countries and areas. So for example, based on the business strategy, you can determine that you want to locate your new factory in Asia. Then based on culture or the labor cost or your target customer and your potential supplier, you will determine the country, let's say for example Vietnam, and the area is South Vietnam, Southeast Asia, Vietnam, and South Vietnam. Okay, then you will determine the cities and the towns that you want to locate your new facility based on the local condition. So for example, you will choose Ho Chi Minh City. Okay, Ho Chi Minh City, and maybe District 1. Then based on the available size, the company will determine the individual site, like specific site. For example, in Bùi Viện Street. Okay? That is the overall approach to choose the geographic regions. Do you know what is the most important thing when you choose the location? That is a map. It's a world map. So when you go to the Germany company, the first thing you see in your eyes is a map. So if you work in the company, if you are a manager there, how many regions you will divide the world into? Okay, for me, I will suggest you to, of course, it's based on your company's strategy, but it's a way. I will introduce you a way to separate it. It's based on the continent, different continent. First one is Asia. Sorry, Asia, Europe, Africa, North America, and South America, and Australia. So totally I will divide the world into 6 regions. Why I divide it based on the different continent? Because different continent we will have a different culture or different uh, sorry, here is the Asia. So they have different culture, different weather or habitants, for example. So this is a basic way to divide, to separate the world into different regions. So when we make the location decisions, what kind of considerations we have to make? So earlier we already learned about the factors we have to consider when we make the location decisions, that we separate it in 2 different groups, and here is more detail about those considerations. So first we have to know where is our target customer. So for example, our target customer is student. So where we should locate our store? Maybe nearby the university, nearby the school, right? Like in our area, because there are many students here, so you have to know where are your target customer located. And the second one is the location of your suppliers and materials. For example, your suppliers in Indonesia, so you will tend to locate your facility somewhere near Indonesia. And also based on the culture of that area, of people there, so to make their based on the culture to make their location decision. And also the government attitudes. If the government welcome us to locate the facility there, for example, North Korea government don't really welcome people to go there to do business, so the company have to consider that factors. North Korea. And also we have to consider direct cost and the indirect cost. So what is direct cost and what is indirect cost? Direct cost is those costs related to manufacturing products and services. For example, our material cost or labor cost, like salary for uh, or payment for people who produce the products and service. It's not always correct, but direct cost is mostly considered as a fixed cost. Fixed. Sorry, sorry. Direct cost is considered as variable cost. Because direct cost is affected by the production quantity. Okay, and indirect cost is the cost that is not directly related to manufacturing products or services. For example, the management cost, insurance, and also this one is considered as fixed cost and it's not affected by the production quantity. It's not always correct, but it's mostly okay. And other considerations like exchange rate or social attitudes. Okay, so we will see an example about BMW. So this company decided to build its first major manufacturing plant outside of Germany, and they choose South Carolina, Carolina in US to locate their first manufacturing plant. So why they choose US but not other country? So we will see what factors they consider. So the first is the target market. Because US is the world's largest luxury car market. That's why they can see US is a potential market. The second factor they consider is their labors. So the labor cost in US is much cheaper compared to Germany. They have to pay 17 USD per hour in Tesla 27. So they can reduce the cost based on the labor cost. And also they have the higher labor productivity in the US because in US they have only 11 holidays compared to 31 holidays in Germany. And they also consider other factors, other costs like shipping cost. So when they locate their new manufacturer plant in Germany, they can lower the shipping cost. And also they consider the government incentives. In Germany, they have a free trade zone from the airport to plant, and they don't need to do any duties on imported components or on exported cars. So those are the advantages if they locate their manufacturing plant in US. That's why they decide to build their first major manufacturing plant in the US. Okay. After we choose the regions, the next step is we choose the countries and areas, like most specific areas and most specific location. That's why in the part 3 we will learn about some approaches to make the location decisions. So there are two main approach. The first one is infinite set approach and the second one is feasible set approach. Infinite set approach is we find the best location in principle and then we will choose a site nearby. And feasible set approach, we will compare the sites that are available, then we will choose the best one. So for example, we have let's say here is Ho Chi Minh City. So after we compare or consider the factors, the characteristic of the location we want, we see district 1. District 1 is the best location for us to locate our new facility. However, it's not available anymore because like there are too many stores located in District 1 and it's too crowded there, so it's not available, so we cannot choose we cannot locate the news facility in District 1. That's why we have the feasible set approach, that we will consider which location are available. For example, districts 2, 7, 3, for example. So we will compare between we will compare among 3 these locations and we will see which one is the best among those. Okay, so that is the difference between the infinite set approach and feasible set approach. Let's see here. We have the customer, suppliers and customers here. So we want to build a distribution center. So where should we locate our distribution center? If we locate our distribution center near the customer, the cost from the the cost from distribution center to the customer, like transportation cost, is smaller, right? However, the cost from the distribution center to the supplier increase is larger. Do you still remember how what name is the transportation cost from the distribution center or manufacturer to the customer? That one is our transport cost. Okay, and from supplier to manufacturer or distribution center is inward. So in the first case, we can see if we locate the distribution center near to the customer, the inward transport cost increase and the outward transport cost decrease. How if we locate our distribution center near the suppliers? Then the inward cost decrease. However, the outward cost increase. So that the question is how we can compromise the position so that we can minimize the cost, the total cost. So here we will look at this graph, this figure. We also can see if we locate the location nearest to the customer, the outward transport will increase. And if we locate near to the supplier, the inward transport cost decrease. So we can see the total cost line is like this. So that's why we want to find the location. The location here. So that is increase is occurs the smallest cost. Okay. So the best location is this location, is this point. So how to find this location? We can use a method called center of gravity. So we have XO, YO is the coordinate of the facility that the new facility location, XO, YO, and XI, YI is the coordinates of each customer and supplier I, and WI is the weight is expected demand at the customer I or the expected supply from the supplier I. So how to calculate XO? We take the sum of XI times the weight WI and divide by the sum of WI, the expected demand or expected supply, and it's the same for YO. Is equal to the sum of YI times WI and divide by the sum of WI. So we can separate the maps, the location in the reality, into a smaller part like this, so we can determine the coordinate of each location. For example, here, this, maybe I will choose this location, Ruron. So the coordinate of these areas is 120 and 50. 120, 50. Okay, so if we use this one, we can solve the problem in the reality, like the real location for our new facility based on their coordinate. So let's look at this example. The Van Hendrik industry is building a central logistics center that will collect all the components from 3 suppliers, and they will send the finished goods to 6 regional warehouses. So here we have 3 suppliers and 6 warehouses. So where they should locate their distribution center, and we have the data of suppliers and warehouse, the coordinate. So we have 3 supplier and 6 warehouse here. So the first supplier located in the coordinate 60 91.8, and the expected supply we will take from the supplier is 40. So how we can calculate XO? So we will take 91 times 40 plus 93 times 60 plus 3 times 80 plus 83 times 24 plus 89 times 16, so on and so forth until the warehouse 6. Then you divide by the sum of the total expected supply or demand, and that is how to calculate the XO. And YO is the same. You take 8 times 40 plus 35 times 60, so on and so forth to 48 times 28. Then divide by the sum of total expected supply or demand, that is 40 plus 60 plus 80 until plus 28. So you can find the coordinates of the new facility. So here we can see XO is 45.5 and YO is 50.3. And here in this figure we can see the location of supplier 1, supplier 2, supplier 3, and 6 warehouse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and we determine the center of the gravity is here, that is 45.5 and 50.3. Okay, so this is the best location for us to locate our new facility. Let's look at another example. Suppose you work in Alberta, Canada, and you want to deliver 20 tons of material per day to Edmonton and 40 tons a day to Calgary. And these two cities are connected by a straight road 300 km long. If the cost of getting deliveries from supplier are the same regardless of location, where would you build a warehouse? So we can see here we have two locations that we need to deliver the products. The first one is Edmonton and the second one Calgary. And where we should locate our distribution center so that we can minimize the cost. Here is the minimize the distance. Using the center of gravity, we will consider Edmonton and Calgary are located in the x-axis x-axis. So we will have Edmonton is 0, 0, right? And Calgary is 300, 0. We don't consider the y-axis. So here is the coordinate of Edmonton and Calgary. So using the center of gravity, we will calculate the weight, the expected demand from Calgary is 40 times 300 plus 20 times 0, and divide by the total demand, total expected demand, that is 20 plus 40. So we have is through 200 kilometers from Edmonton. So we can determine the new facility is located here, 200 kilometers from Edmonton and 100 kilometers away from Calgary. However, if I decide to put the distribution center here, so what is the cost I have to pay? So we have 40, right, times euro, because I don't need to pay for transportation cost when I locate here. So I have 40 times euro plus 2010 times 300. So the total distance I have to travel to deliver those demand is 6,000 km, right? 6,000 km. However, if when I locate the distribution center here, so what is the distance I have to travel? That is 220 tons times 200 plus 40 tons times 100. Okay, so the total distance is 8,000. That is more than 6,000. So all in all, if I locate the new facility here, it will be better. So that is the weakness of the center of gravity method. That's why we need to use. That's why we have the feasible set approaches with costing model and scoring model to improve the weakness of COG method. And we will learn this. We will learn more detail about costing model and scoring models in the next lessons.